What's up internet? In this video we are going to test the input lag of Street Fighter V on PS4, PS5 and on PC. We are also going to test playing on wired versus wireless as well. I'm going to be using a 960 frames per second high-speed Sony camera to do this test. This camera is fast enough for us to calculate input lag in the milliseconds. That's 1000 milliseconds for every second. I've got the pre-recorded high-speed videos in these folders. What I'll do is import them into my video editing program and count how many frames it took from the moment the button is hit to when the action happens on screen. We will use my handy spreadsheet to collect and calculate the average input lag for each system. Alright, so I'm finally done gathering and entering all the data, and literally this took me a whole entire week to do. Just check this out. 252 lines of data. It's a lot of work, but I think it's definitely worth it, so let's get into it. On the PC Wire Test, so I got around the mid 50s to like the mid 60s, it's kind of go back and forth. On average, I'm getting a 60.57 milliseconds of input delay. And on Bluetooth 5.0 on the PC, I'm getting essentially roughly the same numbers. So we have mid to high 50s and then mid 60s. On average, I'm getting about a 62.03 milliseconds. When you compare the two, they're essentially the same, with Bluetooth just being a little bit slower, but then again there is the margin of error as well, so I'm gonna look at this as essentially the same because 2 milliseconds is very close. Alright, let's move on to the PS5 wired, and immediately you notice that the input delay is so much higher. Check this out, right? It ranges anywhere between a high 80s up to the high 110s, with the lowest being 82 milliseconds and the highest being 119, so essentially 120, so it's all over the place. On average, I'm getting a 104.63 milliseconds. And when we jump to PS5 wireless, the story is essentially the same as well. Most of the numbers hovers around the high 90s and low 100s, with the highest being 120 and the lowest being 90 milliseconds. On average, I'm getting a 105.85. So again, we're seeing very similar numbers between wire and wireless. What stands out to me though is the numbers between the PC to the PS5. Look how huge the difference is. Look at this. It's over 40 milliseconds of difference. That's huge. And finally, let's move on to the PS4 numbers. Most of these samples are over 100, as you can see here, with the lowest being 91 and the highest being 122. On average, I'm getting a 108.80 milliseconds of input delay. Alright, let's hop over to the PS4 wireless now. You gotta remember, the PS4 uses Bluetooth 2.1, so that's ancient Bluetooth technology. Let's take a look at what we have. On the low end, I'm getting 93.75, and on the high end, I'm getting a 119.79. So very similar numbers to the PS5 Bluetooth 5.0 wireless. On average, I'm getting a 106.11, and as you can see here, Bluetooth on the PS4 is slightly faster than wire on the PS4. Isn't that nuts? And this is consistent with my previous test on MK11. But overall though, they're so close, might as well just be the same thing. And when you compare between the systems, the PS4 is the slowest of them all. The PS5 just a tiny bit faster, but when you move over to the PC, all of a sudden the input lag is almost half as on the PlayStation systems. So if input lag is important to you, and of course it is because you're watching this video, the PC is the way to go obviously. And that's it for me. Hopefully you found the video to be interesting. If you did, give it a like, subscribe for more, and take care now.